And we'll give this just another minute before we start here. Hello, hello, my Twitch viewers. My name's Randy, also known as Duo. I'm going to be streaming a Lego build of the Apollo 11 Lunar Lander module tonight. And I had this one for a little while, been saving it up, and thought I might build it for the Apollo 50th anniversary of the launch. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So let me get some space moved up here, and we will get this kit unpacked and started, because it's going to take a little while. And actually, before we do that, this one right here is the Lego Saturn V rocket. Woohoo! And this one I had built that about a year ago. It's an exceptionally large and involved kit. But it also comes with its own little lunar lander module, which is this little teeny tiny thing. And that actually fits up inside the rocket exactly where it would in real life. Squeezes in there just like that. We'll go ahead and set that one aside. And put the fin on that I just dropped off. Let's see, who's in chat? Nobody's in chat. No, wait, somebody's in chat? Well, hello everybody who's in chat. Say hi if you want, introduce yourselves. I'm going to start unpacking this kit here. Hopefully this kit has numbered bags. Lego's usually really good about numbering the bags in their kits so that you only open the bags you need. Quite a thick assembly manual. And it's actually got a large section in the manual, let me get that on camera here, that's got pictures and stories about the Apollo 11 mission. Of course, shiny decals. All right. Yes, indeed, they're numbered. Thankfully. There's bag one. That is also number one. Step four, step four. Step two. Another step two. And plate pieces in an unnumbered bag. In fact, I'll just pop those out right now. Those will likely be on the base that the build starts with. And bag three. And that's it, actually. So we'll set 3 and 4 aside. And set bags 2 up over there. And we'll start getting bag 1 done. Part tool and a lot of plates. This is the first bag is going to be the base, and of course the parts for the astronaut. I see a visor in there. Hopefully there's a head somewhere. Probably in this bag. And yeah, there's a head right there. Hope y'all can hear me just fine. Working with my new blue Yeti Pro microphone, and actually it's turned out to be a pretty decent mic. Get the little vitamins out of this bag here, little teeny tiny pieces. And we'll set the decals aside for now. So let's get into this book. Alright, and you can see from there's the layout of how it's going to be built, bags 1, 2, 3, and 4, and what they build. And we're definitely going to start on the base with bag 1. I need 7 of these long black bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And both of these plates. I'll get everything else pushed aside for just a moment. And try not to drop any of it on the floor. So we've got our little Lego astronaut, very simple. Legs, torso, head, and the helmet and life support systems on the spacesuit go right on top there. And then there's the gold visor right on the front, which has nowhere to rotate. Actually, it just pops on and off. We'll set him aside. You might notice here, just on the right of the screen, I've got a little Lego astronaut I built from spare parts bins a few years back. It's actually got a little skull face. I kind of modeled him on a Vashta Narada from Doctor Who. Thought that was funny. So, keeping him around. We'll set that guy aside and move on to building the plates. One black bar, one gray bar, and start digging out these smaller plate pieces. Okay, I got 2 viewers now. Welcome, viewers. My name is Randy, also known as Duo. I'm building the Lego Lunar Lander, Apollo 11 Lunar Lander set. Just started. Say hi, introduce yourselves. And let's see, it's a gap of 4 and then a gray. A knob, another gray bar. Yeah, I think this build should go pretty quick tonight. Doesn't look too terribly tough. I mean, there are about, let's see, what does that say? 1,087 pieces in this kit, which is a decent bit more than the Vestas windmill that I put together recently, the other night, but definitely not as many as in the Saturn V. The Saturn V's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of small pieces. And some more of these little plates. It is a wonderful hot evening here in Seattle, east of Seattle anyways. But it is summer and it is awfully humid. Gray bar and another black bar. So that's the base. Now we're going to build a couple of additional pieces. So 2 more plate pieces it wants us to put together. 4 long black bars, 2 shorter black bars. There and there. 4 of these circular pieces. Two gray bars, there and there. Gray plate times 2, oh no, smaller gray plate. There we go, times 2. 4 of these light gray square plates, and 4 of the little 2x4 single height black pieces. For anybody just joining or viewing for the first time, my name is Randy. I do variety streaming. I do lots of different things: 3D printing, Lego, video games, kind of a lot of everything. Depends on what I feel like doing. Been feeling Lego lately, which is really kind of nice. So now I'm going to have to build 2 of these plate pieces. Flip those over. Now I'm going to do, alright, so 1 overhang, a long and a short. Those flatten down really well. Flip those back over and the round pieces in place and the edges in place. And this is just going to, these pieces are going to extend the base plate portion that I built before. In fact, I'm going to need to make some room for it. Get some of the small bits out of the way. And there's the base plate. I'm going to need 9 of the smooth black edge strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure that those don't have labels on them, because I believe I saw, yeah, there's 1 with a label on it. That will go, actually that one goes right down here. This is just a nice smooth edging around the base plate. So, who's hanging out? Anybody want to stop by and say hi? Let's see, a couple of short, smooth 4s. Here's 1. And here's the other. Let's go right there on those sides. So there's the base plate. It's got right down at the bottom, Apollo 11, a lunar lander. All right, 2 of these plates, 2 of these square plate, these little hollow square plates, and 3 panels. It's going to start building up around the edge. viewers. Stop in, say hi, introduce yourselves. Working on the Apollo 11 lunar lander from Lego. Large plate. Get that flattened out nice. That one goes towards the back. And 3 flat plates. And 1 little single stud, which I believe that single stud there is actually going to hold the flag later on from looking at the front of the book, or look the front of the box. All right, next step. Actually, this one's moving along pretty quickly. Two plates, 2 gray bars, and 2 flat covers. So we'll do gray bar, flat, flat, gray bar, and then we've got gray plate, gray plate. And you can see it starting to come together in the corners here where you see the light gray. That's actually where it's going to build up the little receptacles for the feet, like with the moon dust kind of pushed up and out of the way a little bit. 1 large plate. Just 1 of those, and then 3 angled, 3 90-degree right angle, these little mini smooth pieces here. And these are actually part of detail on the lunar surface, which we'll get into just shortly here. Once we complete the base portion, I'll show you. And 4 more of the 90-degree angle pieces. And move on to the next step. We'll get 3 flat plates. 2 of the squares. 1 will go on the back here. 1 will go towards the front here. Flat, flat, and the plate. And one of the really cool details on this set is that the flag gets planted right here in this stud, and there's space here with these studs to put the actual astronaut. So he sits in there like that, and the studs behind him are actually the steps, the footprints on the moon, which I think is a really cool little detail. All right, so all the base plates are down. Now it's a lot of detail pieces and building up the crater. 4 light gray squares. 3 light gray plates and 3 light gray bars. Bar 3? Oh no, two gray bars. Thought I was missing one there for a moment. Okay, so here, 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 keep on going. I need 16 of these little curved 90 degrees. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And these are going to go in the corners around where the legs sit. And provide the little recesses that actually hold the legs on the lander to keep it on the model, or to keep it on the base plate. So today is the anniversary of the 50th anniversary of launch day for the Saturn V rocket carrying Apollo 11 to the moon. A day millions and millions of people around the world remember. Something extremely unique. Very, very unique, massive event where we're going to put a person on the moon. We're going to put people on the moon. And that's, in any decade, even now, that's still a massive achievement. It's a lot of work. A lot of people put a lot of effort into it. And NASA and SpaceX are definitely going to get us there again. Pretty quickly, even. So we got some of the little pockmark craters. And get some of these corners going that are building up the blast crater. I believe it's, no, it's just a large crater underneath. Four long slopers, 4 short slopers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go long, short, long, short. And again, alternating long and short. Don't drop pieces. And we'll continue around to do the rest of that as well. In just the same manner, long, short, alternating. Get these long pieces nailed down. And put the short slopers between them. Don't have any music on my stream at the moment. I don't have any Twitch safe stream sources for music that I have, set up yet. Obviously, a lot of the music that I like to listen to just isn't allowed for streaming purposes. So we got that portion of the crater done, and now 14 of these little angled vitamins. Just to add a little bit more texture to the overall surface, and so it's not all just studs. ever grateful that Lego always includes at least one extra of each of the little pieces in the kit, because they're little pieces and, you know, things happen. In fact, I've got every Lego kit that I have has a small plastic baggie that holds all the spare components, and the spare collection I have now is actually pretty massive. So there's the ring on the crater, and now the final touch on the base here is actually the flag. This one here, sticker number 13. I like that they're all nice and shiny. It's metal foil stickers. Get that sticker to fly. And here's the completed base plate with the flag and the astronaut there planting the flag with his footprints in the moon dust. Really good job on this Lego. So now that we've got the base done, we're actually going to be moving on to bag 2. I do have 2 little spare vitamins, and those will stick around. I set the base here aside. Oh, there's that. And bag 2, actually starting off the base, the landing system and the legs for the lander. It's the portion that remains on the moon. Still remains on the moon. And all of that is in bags 2. No parts left over in the bag. Let's see. Anybody gonna stop by and say hi? And stop in, chat a little bit. It's a nice Tuesday afternoon for a stream. 7:30 Tuesday evening. Stay hydrated. Let's start off with this octagon center portion. And then we're going to build 4 leg supports to build onto that. Okay. So 4 dark base plates. 4 dark square base plates. Where are you, base plate? There you are. I'm sure somebody on camera could probably find that a whole lot easier because the camera's looking straight down. And 4 of these small 2x3 black pieces. 8 of these little anchor knobs. 6, 7 and number 8. Where are you? There's number 8. Number 9. Number 9. 8 of the socketed knobs, these little studs. 6, 7, 8. 8 of these angled pieces, little 90-degree angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's really just having me sort out the first bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those little flat studs. Whew. And 8 of these light gray hinges. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 bars. And I believe that's all the required kits. So since we're doing 4, we'll just get them all done on the same step. Flip that over. And the angle brackets, just like so, with a bar right behind them. Angle, angle, bar, angle, angle, bar. Did I not grab all of them? No. Angle, angle, and bar. And on the front of each of these go these little hinge brackets. And these are going to be the top portion supporting all the linkage for the landing legs. Which really looks nice and detailed. It's really cool. Now plug pegs into, actually these ball joint pegs are going to go into the side of each one. Not trying to do a speed build or anything here. But you know, there's not a lot of people in here chatting, so don't have to focus on chat so much. All right, now 2 brackets on top of each one with extra knobs, and each bracket gets a little flat stud. Right there on the outside. And did I not grab enough? Did I only grab 7? Entirely possible. Yep, there's number 8. So now I have 4 of these base plates for anchoring the legs. And those are all going to go straight around the edges of the octagon base plate. It's the OctoWeb, NASA version, not SpaceX version. And then those get reinforced with little 2x3 plates, 2 on each leg. So there's 4, 5, 6. Stay on there. 6, 7. And 8. And each one of these will get anchored on just like that. And my Fashta Narada minifig just took a dive. Shaking the table though, he was perched on top of the water bottle. Alright. So now those legs are anchored in place. And we're going to start adding the detail on top of the legs. Each of these little half stud plates, 4 of those. And 8 more of these 90-degree, 1, 2, 3 right angle pieces, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's a whole lot easier to find pieces in this set than it is in the wind turbine set that I built the other night, which didn't have any numbered bags, and literally the first build section was to build a little service truck that goes with it, and the service truck pieces were broken up into literally every bag in the box, so I had to open every bag just for the first portion. And that was obnoxious. Really obnoxious. Take note, Lego. For these little strips, go right across here. And then I need 8 more angled pieces. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to be extending that out on each side. These support brackets to hold on the sides of the detail stuff on the landing module. Let's see, 4 of these little clip pieces. There's 1. There's 2. 3. And there's 4. And then 2 of the tan 2x2s. Each tan 2x2 gets little hooks on each side. And these will go right on the inside to hold who knows what. And looking at it, I actually missed a spot. I got it just off, just slightly off on one piece. Use the brick tool. You think that talking myself through this, I'd actually get it right the first time. Ah. There we go. That's better. So now we've got these hooks in place and everything is nice and symmetrical. And I'm getting an alert. Yeah, we'll restart Steam later. Two more of the tan 2x2s, and these are gonna, along with a couple of dark gray 2x1s underneath them, and these are gonna lock in those clips that I just put in. Two more of those little 2x2s, and then, or sorry, 2x1s, and then two tall 2x1s. On the opposite sides of the hooks. Technic crossbar going straight across. Two blue circles, stack them up, and four of the black. Those goes right in the middle. And four of these little black 5-stud cross pieces, and those will anchor straight across. All right. Wonder where people are tonight. It's a Tuesday. I mean, okay, it's Taco Tuesday. You should be out for tacos. I actually had Indian food tonight. I made some Indian food. Paneer jalfrezi was really good. Apparently I missed a step. Where did I miss a step? Oh, right down there. Two white. Yeah, so those get anchored in there, and these go, gray pieces go right on either side of them. That's starting to get built up pretty nice. It's a pretty solid piece too. I like when the designers actually consider the structural rigidity of the stuff that they design. The Saturn V rocket, for instance, this thing it weighs a ton. It is heavy, and it holds itself together. And all the parts are, all the stages are completely separable. This was a fantastic build. I didn't think it was going to hold itself together. And sure enough, it does. think that microphone's actually good enough to pick up me chewing. Probably not the best thing. But hey, when you got a snack, you got a snack. 2 of those pieces, 4 of these pieces. Two of these little 2x3. Got you there. 2 of these little hook brackets. 4 of these little smooth plates with a stud on top. 3 and you little stud. There you are. And then 2 dark gray. 2 pieces and 4 hooks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 hooks. And we're going to put together 2 parts. I'm guessing are going to be the anchors for that actually hold down the ascent module. The ascent module, I think that's the right term. Not an astronaut. Did want to be one like most other kids my age back in the early 80s. There's 1 bracket. Also working on being mindful where my hands are in the camera, so you guys can actually see the parts that I'm building. And now I've got these 2 brackets, which will actually clip in interestingly enough to the hooks that were placed earlier. There's some cool detail in there that makes it look a lot more realistic. I mean, honestly, you look at the images of the Lego versus the realistic one, and they are really close together. It's surprising with the resolution of Lego that they could get something so awesome looking. Still only have 1 viewer. I wonder if that's me. I'm going to build these interesting red and white stacks. And they are 2 barrel pieces with holes, a cap, and a bottom cap. So 2 barrel pieces with holes. And we'll do that for red and white, and we're going to end up doing this twice. caps on those on both ends, top and bottom. And red on one side, white on the other side. And that's the piece that's having build. I wonder if those are like fuel tanks. And a white cap and a white bottom cap. And there, now I have those two. And those are going to go right there. And now there's actually a little section here in the instructions, which reads, the lunar lander carried both fuel and an oxidizer to ignite the hypergolic fuels, since it's not possible to use fuel without an oxidizer in space. And that's what those tanks are. It's explaining that. That's kind of neat. Moving right along. I'm going to build two of these parts. Starting off with these little black plates. So I'm going to set this aside for just a moment. And those go on the end of the grays. So now we've got those, step 25, step 26, skinny, skinny, thick, thick, and the thick one goes up there, and the skinny one goes right here. Thick one goes there, skinny one goes right there. Now, black plate, gray bar. And we're into getting some vitamins now, some actual little black and gold studs. Each one of these gets two. Make sure we're not missing anything. And then some reinforcement bars. Step 29 is done. On to the next page. Black 6x2. And then a couple of little gray 2x1s. Oops. Pay attention. those in place. Now, big black plates up here. I'm guessing that's going to be like so. Smooth, smooth. And smooth, smooth. So now we've got these two modules assembled. Flip them over. And they're going to need studs in the sockets. Oh, that's awesome. You know what's really awesome? I did 100% miss a step. No, not a step, a single piece in a step. Easy to remedy. There's actually these little anchor pieces that went in, completely missed them. Pry it up with the part tool, squeeze the piece in, squeeze it all back together. All right, now that we've got that, it wants red blocks on the posts. Angled like that. And those will end up actually mating to the base. Okay, let's see. Let's get this right. You're going directly behind the red section. Wow, actually I've been going for already an hour. It's already 8 o'clock. Time is flying, but I do have the base and the moon surface and a good portion of the lander base going. So this shouldn't actually be a super long build. Don't forget the snacks. So we do have those two side sections built in. Looks like the sides that are going to go in the gaps here and here are going to be different from each other, as the instructions are only showing a one build for the next item. So we'll get started on that. Hey, who turned out the lights? But essentially it's got the same base design as the two that I just built, which makes sense. I mean, all four of them are going to be supporting parts. They're just going to have little detail differences on this, I think. And here's where they're diverging. 2 of those, and some more of the black and gold studs. At least those are similar. Huh. Interesting. Set that aside for the moment and go with the plate. Wrong. Yep, there's the right one. Flip that over. And I think these are actual doors for the storage compartments on the base of the lander. They're actually going to be able to flex open and closed. That's what that looks like. Add some more detail here. We'll go with, oh, this little detail. Excuse me. It's a camera. And that's going to get stowed up in this unit, or camera, tape recorder, stowed up in there. And we're going to add that right on here, the piece we just built. Add in a couple of support bars to lock that down. The camera in quadrant 4, which is this camera here, filmed Armstrong as he climbed down the ladder and placed his foot on the moon. So this is the actual camera that was kind of stowed underneath that actually filmed him as he stepped down the ladder. That's really, really cool. Important details. And now we're going to add some closure on this one. What's it stopping on? There it goes. So yeah, here's the side panel. And as it opens up, you can see there's the camera unit underneath. And 2 of the smaller flat panels. And now, of course, we're going to get... I did it again. I 100% did it again. I missed these parts. Where did I miss those? I have no viewers still. Nobody's talking. Oh, missed it right there. As I was talking about him coming down a ladder. Or coming down the ladder. Easy fix. Pop all that back together. And now it's going to want white anchors on this side that will match the white tanks. And pop that down right there. And that's the fourth quadrant with the camera. The other quadrant we haven't built yet, but we'll get to that in just a moment. And it's built up basically the same way. Got those. Double check your steps. Get this stuff right. Black plate. Black and gold vitamin. Black and gold vitamin. And we're going to start with the plate. Stay on camera. And I believe this stowage compartment, this flap is where the reflector, the retroreflector module, which is it's a big mirror that reflects light back from any direction that it actually hit the retroreflector at. Super efficient. It's actually the corner of a cube. The 3 panels. When light comes in, it exits that reflector the exact same direction it came from. Same thing is used in reflectors on, like bicycle reflectors. They have the little triangle patterns you see in them. It's the same thing. It's retroreflector light. You can see it from any angle because the light goes straight back to where it came from. Flip this over, get the pegs in there. Okay, pegs, anchor. I hear somebody with a radio control car outside. And it sounds like it's going really fast. NG, hey, how you doing, man? Going pretty well so far. How many pages are you into it? I am 91 pages in. What I've built so far, actually, time to actually do a good recap. This is the base plate. The 4 corners here where the feet for the lander are going. There's a little crater here. Of course, the flag with the astronaut and the detail with the astronaut footprints right behind him. That's kind of neat. And this is the beginning of the base of the lander module. This is the base portion that stays on, or it stayed on the moon for all those missions. Saw a tweet earlier and hated you immediately. Oh, you want to hate me even more? The funny thing is, I bought this kit for myself a couple months ago when they came out. Actually, I think it was like the day it came out. And I set it aside because I didn't have time to actually build it at that specific point. And I was completely unaware everybody was doing big 50th anniversary celebrations for the Apollo 11 launch. And then my birthday rolled around a few weeks ago, and my wife said she got me a present that's coming in the mail. And what came in the mail was literally another lunar lander. And when I opened it up, I was like, this is awesome, but I already have one. And I pulled out the other box. So I got to take that one back to the Lego store. We have a Lego store down in Bellevue. And I got store credit, and I bought the Overwatch Bastion set with the credit, and Beth got some other kits. So that's cool. And I've got 3 of the base compartments for the landing module. Let's see which one. This one's the oddball. This module, or this one, actually opens up, and there's the camera in that module, and that's the one that folded out and filmed Armstrong when he first stepped off the ladder and made that first step on the moon. That's a cool detail. And now I'm building the 4th module here that's got the retro reflector in it. You still need to finish the Ghostbusters Firehouse. I have that one, and I got that one last year, I think, for Christmas, right before we moved into the new place we're in now. So I didn't want to actually break it out if we were going to be moving within a month and have to break the whole thing down. And that set is massive. Yeah, you've only got the first floor done half a year ago. The first floor's got a lot of pieces. Second, it's 4,600 piece set. It's massive. It weighs like 20 pounds. So yeah, absolutely cool. Thanks for stopping by. A couple things that I've got going here on the stream. I've got the Saturn V, which is absolutely massive, weighs a ton, and holds itself together. Very robust kit. And all the stages separate on that one. And of course, here's the lander module from that rocket. Tiny thing, scale difference here. So yeah, I'm building up the 4th quadrant piece, which is the storage that has the retroreflector. So what are you working on tonight? Doing anything? Hanging out? How's the wife? Wife, girlfriend, are you married? Are you getting in on that Saturn V launch pad and tower? You know, I saw that Lego had announced that they weren't going to build one for their kit. It kind of doesn't make sense for them to just build a supplemental kit to another kit. And I heard about that one, but I haven't really looked into it. So I'm not really sure about that one. Honestly, actually, this rocket sits on my fireplace mantle because we don't use the fireplace. And the mantle on it is actually pretty narrow, and the rocket fits perfectly right on one edge. And then we have shelves above it that are holding all my Lego modulars. So it's actually like a nice Lego area over there. She's good, wife. Fan, we just got back from the grocery. I was going to try and work on the tornado, but I may just try and get something going on the Ender and call it a night. Yeah, actually, interesting thing. I finally got myself a Delta. And I don't know if you can see right back here. That's the Monoprice Mini Delta. I actually ended up with 2 of them. One right here, one right here. And they are loud as hell. They are super loud, but they're quick. And they have little screens on them that are pretty nice. I do actually like the little Deltas. One of them I've taken apart. I took the really horrible, I think they're LM8UU or LM6UU bearings out of them. I think maybe they're 8s. Because they were just gritty, rusty, nasty, cheap parts. And I got the little IGUS dry bearings. Those things are actually really smooth. And thankfully the rods are good tolerances, so those slide on pretty well. It hasn't really decreased the noise because the driver board that's on those drives the motors super loud, just really hard. However, it actually does put out pretty decent prints, which is kind of surprising. This was like no modifications, and this one came out. The power supply that comes with those printers is just a little cheap brick, 12 volt, I think 4 or 5 amp brick. It doesn't even put out that much power. It's barely enough to keep the tiny little heated bed 55, 60 degrees trying really hard. So it's definitely not something I'm going to be printing ABS on, even though it says you can print ABS. I suppose I could actually get some better 12 volt power supplies for, and actually have a box of server power supplies that would be perfect for that. Just haven't got around to it yet. So many projects. You inherited the Tornado, completely redoing it with a new board, 2208 stepper drivers, and replaced the Bowden with a Titan Arrow. That's really nice. I've heard a lot of really good things about the Tornado, and people enjoy it. I mean, it's been working for them. But yeah, I mean, I've been. It took the right, just the right situation for me to buy a Delta, and it was just these little Deltas is $100, and they work. The control board that's on them is an STM32, I think an F3 board. You still want a rail core from seeing it at Murph? Yes. I do have parts for a rail core, but I don't think I'm going to get one anytime soon because I have a personal mandate to get this massive, beautiful hypercube in working shape. Everything is there. I just need to get it back together. I went through and actually bought real nice pulleys, like actual Gates pulleys. I bought Gates belts. The Gates pulleys, though, are intended for 5mm rods to be mounted on, or 5mm screws, whereas like the original ones are intended for like the little 3mm screws. So I ended up getting rods, and the rods I bought they're little short rods that go in the corners that hold the belt in the corners. The ones that I got were actually poor tolerances. They were intended for pegs to hold up shelves and shelving units. So I actually ended up having to go through, and I got some sandpaper, I got some metal polish, and I got them all nice and polished down to perfect tolerances so the pulleys actually sit on them perfectly. And I got a couple of them set up and ready to go, but I've still got the old pulleys sitting in it right now. And I have a new head design, actually a new X-carriage design that's going to go in there. And I need to do some modifications because the actual X rails that I have are 10mm rails, and a lot of people don't use 10 for the X rails, they use only 8. So I got to do some modifications and make a carriage to fit with that. But one guy who actually designed a nice carriage for 8mm gave me the sources for that, and I'm going to work that to get the 10mm to fit the 10mm bearings, and hopefully get that going. Everything else about it is there and ready. I got the actual AC, the 120 volt. I think it's a 400 or 500 watt bed heater. That's actually going on an aluminum heat bed that I could not solder the wires on because my soldering iron, even as nice as it is, can't heat up the bed hot enough to get those wires welded on. So I just said, screw it, we'll just use that as a base plate. Stick the silicone heater on the bottom of it, glass on top of it, and go with that. 500mm plus Z-axis. I mean, the thing, it's beautiful, and the side panels for it are actual full-on HDPE massive side panels. They're fully, I mean, they're massive, they're structural, they weigh a ton. So I really want to get that project done. Of course, my main printer back in the corner always works, always runs. I mean, the Mendel Max 3 is just a workhorse. It just never dies. And then there's actually a linear rail kit upgrade kit for the Mendel Max 3, but it's $400. But they're nice rails, high wind rails, a lighter carriage, so it makes that printer a whole lot better than it is already. It's great. It just doesn't print super fast because of the weights of the axes. So let's see. All right, let me get this going and finish up this quadrant and get that mounted. And in just a few minutes here, we'll probably break out bag 3 and do the legs. Let's not forget this anchor piece, like I did on literally all 3 of the other ones. No, you're not a distraction, Angie. It's good to actually have somebody here. It's good to see you. Good to chat with you. And you're hosting me. Thank you for the host. I really appreciate that. And all right, so the actual container here looks like it's just about done. We'll get the anchor pieces on. It's actually going to have me build. It's going to have me build the retro reflector that actually gets stored in this compartment. And I'm going to need a sticker for that one. So nope. And then those 2 pieces. So yeah, that's the actual compartment. And the retro reflector is simply 3 pieces. It's going to go just like that. And it's literally just a little angled reflector that's sitting on the moon. Actually, it's an experiment that's on the moon that still functions. The reflector reflects laser light still very well compared to when it was first set down 50 years ago. And there's a little sticker that goes on top of that, which is on this wonderful foil sticker pack. All the foil stickers, they're just really nice. And that is the retro reflector. And that goes right inside there, just like that. So now I've got the anchor bricks on, and we'll get that plugged into the base. Oh, NG, how does the microphone sound? How's my voice sound? Is it actually coming through really nice? Do you want to give me an honest evaluation of the audio? Because I just got this new microphone and I have no idea how good I sound on it, or how poorly I sound on it. Oh yeah. So there's the base component. Or are you still here, NG? It's actually going to have me start putting stickers on let's see. There's the camera side. So camera side goes over here. And we'll get stickers I'm confused. Apparently, I built one upside down. Or, not completely, I just put the cover plate on top of it upside down. Oops. It's okay. I can fix that. I should probably just pull this off and fix it correctly. There we go. And we will get, camera goes there, United States goes right at the bottom of here. And then little reflective gold panel here. And an angled reflective gold panel right on top of that. Cool. So now that we've got those stickers on there, super shiny, we'll go ahead and rotate this around 180 degrees and drop in this little vitamin that goes right here. And then the camera compartment here closes up and gets stickers of its own. Shiny. Brown codes. Such gold foil. Yes, it is such gold foil. All the gold. Okay, so now that's on there and it wants me to cap these off on top so they get anchored down. Oh no, this isn't the base, this is the actual top module. Is it? Oh no, there's, yeah, it's the base. It just looks confusing in the instructions. It's actually going to get a whole lot more around it and the legs underneath. And let's see. But I need bag 3 for that. And I'm going to take the base plate and set it aside for now. And grab bag 3. Bag 3. And I got a bunch of little vitamins over here, leftover mini pieces. lots and lots of gold pieces, like gold everywhere. They really went for it with the gold on this, and I'm actually really happy they did, because that's a really neat detail. All the gold insulation. Oh, so many pieces. That's like half the part count is just in these two little bags. So Angie, weren't you streaming Lego not that long ago? Little while back? So you big into knolling, or just finding things where they lay and get on with it? You know, it depends on... It really depends on the situation. When the wife and I sit down and we actually... like one of the modular kits, one of the large kits, we'll sit down and we'll take turns on different sections or different bags of the build, and while one person starts working on the build with on that bag, the other person will actually go through what's been laid out and start organizing and start cleaning it up and getting it somewhat organized. So we're both actively working at the same time. One's organizing, one's building, and we switch off. We did the Stranger Things build, which it's all the way up on the shelf out of camera, but the Stranger Things build was really awesome. It actually took us 2 weeks, I think, or a week, because we got busy with a lot of things, and I had my birthday, and we were out of town for a few days, so it kind of sat on the table. All right, so in these streams, honestly, like the bags are very well organized in this pack. The Vesta wind turbine that I did a few days ago, none of the bags were numbered. Everything was a mess. Oh no, we're not in California anymore. I'm in Seattle. We were in California 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago? Yeah. But for like these streams here, essentially what I'm doing is I'm just dropping the stuff out. You keep up with things. Yeah, actually, when I was doing moderating on Japman's 3D printing streams, I was actually in Seattle already. It was the last place we lived. But yeah, I actually didn't have work at the time, so I actually had a lot of free time to do things like 3D printing and modding. Not that I had the money to pay for them. So in these streams, really all I'm going to do is, this isn't a whole lot of parts. It's a lot of identical parts, so just laying it out at least a little bit. Each of the feet actually are set like that. All right, so yeah, situational on the knolling. It is what it is. Just kind of happens. I really want to enjoy these streams, and if I'm actually sorting, I'll be here for hours and hours, and and I have actually sat down for long periods and organized everything by part type, by color, just getting everything ready so the actual build process runs really fast. But of course, the overall time just sucks. Although when you're doing it tag team with your wife, it actually works out. It's a whole lot of fun. these spacers would have been better in the previous build step. Because they're pushing out each of the storage quadrants just a bit. Yeah, it's honestly not that hard to find these pieces here in such a small pack. The numbering and sorting of the bags, the way they do it now, has actually made things a whole lot easier to just dump it out and deal with it. I don't know, that's my opinion. I did the Vesta wind turbine stream a couple of nights ago. That thing is massive, by the way. Way bigger than I thought it was. And my wife's been begging me to build it, annoying me to build it. When are you gonna build it? When are you gonna build it? And I actually had a shelf put up, an IKEA shelf, above the TV on the wall. And I had measured it out to make space for the wind turbine. And it turns out my measurements were off a little bit because the wind turbine is about an inch taller than the space from the shelf to the ceiling. So I can turn the wind turbine in a certain direction, you know, in the Y direction, and it'll sit in the space. But if I turn on the motor and the blade starts spinning, it'll hit the ceiling. Thankfully, that one is designed with a gearbox that is it floats, so you can stop the blades with your hand and it won't hurt the motor at all. All right, let's get those 8 bracket pieces. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, honestly, the way they organized this kit and most of the other kits that I've done recently, it's pretty easy to grab parts. I actually had a couple of Lego streamers the other night pop into that wind turbine stream and chatted out with me, and started following one of them. He is, gosh, what was his name? Arctics. His name is Arctics. He does Lego, and boy, he was doing a lot of Lego today earlier. I was watching him on stream while I was at work. 8 panels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels. These are building up the panels around each of the sides. See if we can get that on camera nicely. Thankfully, there's a lot of regularity in this design going around. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and those go 1 up. Lots of repeating patterns. It's one of those types of builds that's you know, after a few steps, it's almost automated. Side panel pieces. And how about that? Just looks so cool. And there's a break in the instructions with a little blurb. The foil on a lunar lander was used for thermal and micrometeoroid protection. I didn't know the foil was actually thick enough to deal with micrometeoroids. That's cool. So now I'm going to need 32 of the little gold bricks. The little gold flat plates anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 of the gold bits here. So that light is a little blown out there, isn't it? Let's see if I can adjust that. Maybe not so bad. Eight of the gold angled pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 of the flat gold. So that's an angled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is going to build up. I'm scrolling through the wind turbine video from a couple days ago. Saw you picking up the firehouse box. Yes. I was actually using that as a stand to set the base of the wind turbine down just off to the side. Because if I set the whole unit on the desk, the top of the post, just the tower where the generator is, was slightly off camera. It is. That turbine is so awesome. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go grab the turbine. It's actually a pretty rigid build. So if I set it up on the desk, you can see how tall it sits. Cool things about it too, the head turns. But it also runs. And at the base, you can actually, oops, get that on camera. You can see there's little LEDs in the front of the house. And that thing is awesome. And unfortunately, since it doesn't fit on the shelf that I put up for it, it's sitting on top of a Lego Monster Fighters plexiglass display that we have sitting over in the corner. And that's probably going to end up having more sets sitting on top of it. So yeah, now I've got all of these gold panels to pop on. Woof. Essentially, it's the same layout for all these gold panels all the way around. Thankfully, that's pretty easy. And it's just the exact same thing on all four sides. In fact, you know what? I'm going to get the little angled pieces here done. Those should probably be done first because they fit in the corners. so much gold. Gold all the things. Was watching NASA's Twitter stream, was it? Twitter stream this morning, where they were commemorating the exact launch time in the morning on, I think it was 9:35, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on the morning of July 16th, 1969. And the Apollo program for the time, it's an amazing bit of engineering. I was watching the series on YouTube by the guy's name's Curious Mark with a C. He is documenting the Apollo Guidance Computer Restoration Project, which just today released a video of them actually running through and playing a simulation on the completed working hardware. They managed to get it actually functional, running off of its own internal core memory, and that's super fantastic. I think they're on video 21 of the series now. It's an amazing piece of work and really cool to watch. You want to go to the upcoming event at Johnson Space Center, but it's going to be so packed. Yes. Yeah, I can imagine. I'd really like to go down to Florida and watch a rocket launch, you know, like a SpaceX launch or something else. There were quite a few launches from Vandenberg in California when I was living down there, and of course SpaceX has started launching from there more often now as well. But it wasn't a super quick drive from where I was living. I think it was a 4-hour drive. And even if you can drive down there, it's always packed as well. There's only certain places you can actually be. But most of Southern California does get to see the actual smoke trails after the launch. Those look really awesome. Always wanted to see a space shuttle launch in person. Never got that opportunity, unfortunately. Alright, so I've got the gold foil panels on all 4 sides. All gold pieces. And this is a pretty substantial piece. And now I'm going to start building up the legs, the leg portions. It's going to start having me build these in sets of 4. All right. So oops. Hey, kitty cat, what you doing? Hi. So since we're doing these in sets of 4s, let's do all these simultaneously to get them all done exactly the same. So we'll set the module aside for a second. Yeah, here's where sorting might have saved me a few seconds. Maybe. Okay, and now it wants pegs on the sides of each of these. Have I reached the 2-hour mark yet? I'm almost at 2 hours, 1 hour and 56 minutes. I spent 3.5 hours on the wind turbine build, I think it was. maybe a little more than 3.5. I was hoping I could get this one done faster, even though it's a much larger part count kit. A lot of the build is very repetitive. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Angled heads, 1, 2. Where did all my heads go? 3 and 4. Crossbars, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gray socket heads, 1, 2, 3, 4. And red, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just going through and slapping these together. All 4 at the same time. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 90 degrees. Get these struts all built up. Turn, turn, and turn. So NG, didn't you actually get a new job not too long back? You were working for Southwest, and I think that ended, and then you got another job. Is that still working out? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One, 2, 3, and 4. It's been right at a year and still doing great. Worked for the biggest county in Texas doing IT and fixing things for one of the law enforcement agencies. That's actually not a bad sounding gig. Better to be on that side of law enforcement than the other side, right? Especially in Texas. Do not piss off the Rangers. So these are the flex portions of the suspension. Definitely be good on this side of it. Yes, absolutely. The upper arms of the don't break everything off now. but also doing things that I'm good at and don't have to mess with too many people. Unlike the airline. Oh boy, do I hear you on that one. Unfortunately, at work, I've been actually chasing people down a lot lately. Trying to get them to do work, and that's a huge pain in the butt. Nobody actually wants to work. Let's get these landing legs anchored here on each of the 4 corners. The people I work in cloud deployment, cloud servers, cloud infrastructure, that kind of thing, and that is a massive undertaking. It involves so many hundreds of people on many teams. No, I'm not at AWS. I'm at Microsoft actually. Azure deployments. So there are a lot of people on a lot of teams, and the entire thing is a massively complex setup, and it's really impressive. Like, it's one of the coolest things I've ever worked with. But we have a mandate to be able to identify issues. Our team actually identifies issues and tries to get these teams to fix the stuff that they've broken so that we can actually deploy new servers. And people are extremely busy because we've always got a lot of work, and trying to get them to do root cause analysis is always like pulling teeth because they've got work on their actual projects to do, and nobody really wants to do RCAs. That's just life. Every place I've ever been, nobody wants to do the pull apart, the root cause analysis, and figure out what broke, which is understandable. That's some painful work. All right, so 8 little black ones, and to kind of finish that off, essentially what I've been doing is chasing people down to get them to do it, and that's a job in itself. Maybe R. All right, 8 more of the little flat gold. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Troubleshooting is half the fun, or are you a sucker for a challenge? You know, the actual troubleshooting portion is not that bad. We do have, we have logs. Everybody's got logs, because obviously everybody wants to know what's going on, especially when things break. So we have tons and tons of data on everything that goes wrong. That's great. It's just nobody wants to get into it. They all want to do their own stuff and get their own projects going. Hey, how's it going? Oh, hi. I am streaming. So yeah, it's herding cats is what it is. Coders are a bunch of cats. Well, although I have made tremendous progress this week. So that's good. Always like progress. And it's only Tuesday. The rewriting code part is not that bad. Usually when things break and they identify something, code gets fixed pretty darn quick. We have a massive cache of talented programmers, literally all around the world. And getting all these gold bits around the upper suspension arms. And then 4 gold bars right in the middle of each of those. So much gold. Gold all the things. Such gold. All right. And the top plate, actually. Nice. So there's the top octagon. And everything is actually built in. It's a little difficult to see, but there are the red and white fuel and oxidizer tanks on the inside there. Actually, details that are very difficult to see, but they're fully built in. Very nice. And time for more vitamins. Little bits. Okay, let's identify the correct orientation. And these will go sideways. I actually have quite a few Lego sets still to build. Got some stuff that's been up in the closet since we moved, some smaller stuff. We've got most of the modulars done. I got Voltron rebuilt after we moved. He's way up on the top shelf. You can't see him on camera. Voltron, Wally. I got the stunt plane, which is way up there as well. Boy, I need to really work on this camera angle. The Stranger Things one, of course. The Overwatch kits with, I've got the one that's got Diva and Reinhardt in it. That's up on the mantelpiece. So many Legos. In fact, right behind me, you can actually see here is our display cases with our kind of our random minifigs. Stuff that belongs in sets or, you know, or little special things that we've picked up, blind bags and things like that. So that's cool. All right, now we're doing the lower portions of the legs. We're going to do 3 in one design. It looks like we're going to do one that's a little different. I think I know which one is different, so that's cool. That one's got the plaque on it that says it's a little commemoration plaque that was left on one leg. So we'll start plugging these up. Ooh, and these bits are actually silver. These little barrel pieces. That's nice detail. Which direction? Downward. And of course those barrel pieces have slits in them so that they're not vacuum sealed when you put pegs in either end. At least that's what I think of for. Could be wrong. And maybe we'll get this module popped out of the way for just a moment. And shiny little short pieces. Shiny gray short piece, shiny gray short piece, shiny gray short piece. The ball joints. Get these little plugs in them. I wonder if anybody else has dropped into my stream. If anybody's stopping by, my name is Randy. I am also known as Duo Online. I do variety streaming. I do Lego, 3D printing, video games, lots of random stuff, electronics, variety. Tonight we're doing the Lego Apollo 11 Lunar Lander build. This is the base of it here. And today is the actual 50th anniversary of the launch of Apollo 11, so I thought it would be apt to do it today. And we'll get these pieces plugged in. All right, so we got these ball joints for the legs. With the rod holding all of them together. We're going to do 3 legs identical, and then we're going to do one leg a little bit different later. One, 2, and 3. Get these lower struts going. Make sure I get those pieces aligned because I'm kind of a stickler for getting those details done. You can see all 3 of those done there. And now we're going to put control arms Woo! Boy, those are flexible. Now that the control arms are on, we're going to do landing feet, which is the gold disc, a hook, and a single stud. So gold disc, stud, and put a hook in it, just like that. And that's going to strap onto the bottom of the strut, just like that. Disc, stud, hook, snap that on, disc, stud, and hook. Nerd, Biggie, how you doing, Mike? Big Red Pimp, welcome to my stream. Good to see you. Been a while. How you doing? Haven't actually popped in on your wife's stream much lately. Been kind of busy with my own stuff, and now that I have free time, I'm doing my own stream. I don't watch a lot of streamers. Okay, now I've actually, so I'm doing the Apollo 11, get the box out here. The Apollo 11 Lunar Lander module. Of course, today is the 50th anniversary of launch. So that's cool. Thanks for stopping in. I've got the, let's go back towards the beginning here. The actual landing site with a little crater and a little astronaut with his little footprints in the Martian soil there. And now this is the base of the lander, which I've got the base done. I'm working on the legs that go on it. And let's see, what's the orientation? So we'll do that leg. That leg, oh, those are upside down. Want the knob on the bottom. Knob on the bottom. Flip that over. So legs are starting to take shape. And now I'm going to do the fourth oddball leg, which is designed a little bit differently because it's got the commemorative plaque on it. I mean, it's mostly the same. It's just slightly different. So there's the base of it there, and then now they want the panel for the plaque. Goes on the leg instead of one of the silver sections that are on the other legs. There's this plaque section in the middle there, and a silver knob on the end, and they want sticker number 6. The stickers are nice. They're actually like gold foil stickers. Very cool. Sticker number 6, which is that sticker right there, a little commemorative plaque. Came in peace for all mankind. July 1969. Looks good. I'll build the lower portion of the leg. Couple of control arms. and the landing foot, which is the dish, a stud, and a hook, just like the others. So there's that leg. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I'm actually wearing my space program appropriate shirt. Science, it's gotten us this far. It's actually gotten us that far, out to the moon. Okay, control arms, dish is on, and now it wants me to mount the last leg, like so, and then connect the control arms. Oh, so that's how the leg is set up, the folding mechanism. That's pretty cool. So I'll get the rest of those connected as well. And there's definitely still more of these arm linkages to get done. There's like 8 more of those link arms to get in there. Oh, and then do it on, of course I'm plugging it into the wrong one, aren't I? It's actually 2 linkages, 2 balls underneath. It's kind of hard to see. There's one in the front that I mistakenly stuck it on, and then there's the one in the back that it should be on. And then the lower arms go on to those outer balls. So the stream's been going for 2.5 hours, and I've completed 2 of the major portions. So there's the linkage on the leg. And I'm just going to do that 3 more times for all the rest of the legs on here. So Biggie, you hanging out? What you up to? How's things? No fires in Santa Rosa this year? There's actually no fires up here in the Pacific Northwest that I know of. Last couple of years have been really nasty for fires. We've actually had fire days in the last couple of years where like the air is just horrible, and the fires weren't even right here. And of course, you guys, that town, lots of places in California got burnt out. Just crazy. So yeah, there's the lander's legs. Boy, those look really cool. This is definitely one of my favorite kits. All right, now I need a bar and the ladder pieces. Here's the bar, and that goes right on top where I put these hooks earlier. And that's the ladder that's down the leg. And now I'm actually going to build up the landing motor, which is very similar in design. It's starts off as a wash barrel. These wash barrel pieces. And then octagon piece, and of course barrel pieces around. Crazy as hell, but no fires so far. That's good. Crazy's not bad. I am okay with crazy. You guys just went on vacation, didn't you? Lots of people are going on vacation. I took a birthday vacation a couple weeks ago for 4 days. We drove around Washington and Oregon. Actually got to see Eastern Washington and got to see the Cub Crafters company out in Yakima. They build Cub planes for $300,000, $400,000 single engine small planes. And right through the center. Unfortunately, I didn't get to fly one of their planes because their demo plane was down for repairs and upgrades, actually, too. There were upgrades. So yeah, there's the landing rocket. And it's got a little peg in the top that'll just get plugged right up and underneath. Ha-ha! Which is what those blue pieces were for way back at the beginning of the build of this portion. There's actually some blue discs in there that have a cross in them buried. Alright, now flip this one back over and we're going to start finishing off the last of these little vitamins that are here. Little decoration bits. I'm guessing these are the latches that hold the ascent module. You need another vacation. Oh, I hear ya. I really hear you. Okay, so I have a bunch of single stuff left. These are all actually spare bits. Those will get set off to the side. And in the instructions, it has me taking the base plate and plopping down the United States in front. The United States is always in front. Ah! And here's the lander. That's the base of the lander. Pretty darn cool. Now I got to build up the top portion. And that's bags 4. Oh, and it looks like I do have another astronaut in bags 4. Oh yeah, there's another head in there, so this one has 2 astronauts, which makes sense. It was Buzz and Neil. With poor Michael Collins up in the orbiter. I believe I remember hearing Michael Collins in an interview this morning at NASA saying it was nice to actually have a little bit of peace and quiet up there, especially when he'd go around the backside of the moon and couldn't hear NASA. That's hilarious. People asked him if he was the loneliest person in the universe out there in space, because he was all by himself while Buzz and Neil were on the surface, and he said no, it was nice. Time to myself. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of pieces in step 4, so I expect this part to go pretty quick. I'm already running up, see, 2 hours 32 minutes here. Maybe I can get this done in a half an hour. Keep this right around a 3-hour stream. I believe, you know, actually, honestly, Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock Pacific. It's actually a pretty good time for me to stream because I don't have anything else scheduled this day. Nice to be the only human not in a picture either. Yes, that was the other thing. Picture of every human except for one. That's an interesting esoteric accomplishment. So let's get the other astronaut put together. And he gets essentially just a little backpack, and there's a gold faceplate that fits right on the front of this. And the funny thing about that gold faceplate is that it does not actually lift. They went for a more accurate modeling of the actual suit, so there's not enough space for the actual faceplate to lift, which I don't mind, honestly. And speaking of looking for parts, where is my faceplate? I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Got quite a few larger pieces to cover things up. You know what? That's okay. I'll find it later. Weather up here's been really warm too, which is super weird. It was like rainy and cloudy, and then today all of a sudden, you know, it was raining this morning and clouds parted, and all of a sudden it's like 80, 82 degrees. And since it just rained in the morning, all of that sunlight is just starting to evaporate all of the moisture on the ground, and it's miserably humid. And of course, nobody here has air conditioning. I've got 4 viewers on my stream. Who do I have on my stream? Let's see, I got NG, I got Big Red Pimp, I got, let's see, I got quite a few people that stopped by. That's good. It's nice to have people stopping by. I appreciate it. Biggie and NG, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thinking maybe I need a Discord channel. Get some a Discord server and actually get some people in on it. Okay. So yeah, we'll get to him in a bit. Now we're going to start to build up this lander, or the ascent module. Yeah, maybe I should sort some of this out a little bit. Ha! Actually, oh hey, I might be taking a trip to Portland in October for the Retro Gaming Expo. Ah, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I have not been to that yet, and actually I would like to go. Last time I was down in Portland for something like that was actually PDX Land last year. Last November-ish. PDX Land was a lot of fun. 3 days of intense gaming. With some really, really interesting people. People that show up there and game, and the stuff that they bring, their computers, their mods, it's all really cool. But yeah, I really would like to go down to the Retro Gaming Expo. We have one here in Seattle that I think it was last month, or maybe it was this month. I went last year, and it was tiny, and it was absolutely disappointing. And I know that the one in Portland's a whole lot bigger and a whole lot better. So yeah, if you're gonna head up there, yeah, actually I might see you there. But I just had an aha moment, and I pulled out those bags for step 4 here. It turns out I missed one. There's a little tiny one, and of course the faceplate is right there. A bunch of us retro streamers are meeting up too. Gonna be a good time. That actually, there's a group here in Seattle called called SOBA, the Seattle Online Broadcasters Association, and they actually meet. It's actually a nice big sponsored event once a month at GameWorks downtown Seattle, and it is a massive party. A couple hundred people show up, and they actually get space, and they do live streaming from that event, and I've actually met quite a few people in the last few months that I've gone to that. And hopefully actually going to work on my streaming and get better at it. Got a really good microphone. See, got a good microphone. I'm working on my lighting. I got my stream deck. I've got multiple cameras now. I've actually got the nice 4K Brio, which it's okay until I get some more lighting. The Brio in 4K, not super light sensitive, but when the lighting is done really well, it's a great camera. Or when there's daylight, thing is massive in daylight. So there is, I'm gonna guess that's Buzz, because Neil is already on the surface. So yeah, here's totally all the extra pieces I was missing. Let's get this built, shall we? So have you actually been doing any streaming, Biggie? Playing any retro games? I picked up Toe Jam and Earl, the new one that they did, because it was just on sale on the Nintendo Switch. So I actually played that the other night. But I need to work on getting my audio capture correct on this machine so I can actually play it and stream at the same time. That one, it's interesting. It's very much like the original Genesis games, but it feels a little weird. And I was a real big fan of Toe Jam and Earl originally when it came out, and one of my friends had it, and I would just play the shit out of it. Good times. Yeah, and here's a situation where going through the pieces and organizing everything would actually help, because there's a lot of tiny pieces in this one. Of course, now I've got the audio, the soundtrack for that stuck in my head. There were a lot of games on the Genesis that actually had fantastic soundtracks. Quite a few on the SNES too, mostly Japanese titles. Toe Jam and Earl, though, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker had fantastic audio, and I really liked the game itself. The gameplay was, once you got used to it, it was really good. Last level was super difficult. Not for the sake of difficulty, but it actually scaled up really well in the game. Dude, the collection here is seriously blown. I need a new place. Yes. Oh, speaking of collection, I picked up a few Holy Grail pieces that I really wanted, although I'm still missing one Holy Grail piece that's very difficult to find. I picked up an Atari XE game system, the full game system with the keyboard and the light gun and 2 cartridge games that I had actually when I was a kid. And I never got a floppy disk drive for it, so I could never save anything, and that was real pain. And I'm still looking for the Atari XE or XF551 drive. I want a complete original one in the box because I'm like that, especially for important things. I really want to get that drive and be able to use it. I mean, I can actually, like, I have an Arduino that'll hook up to the serial port and pretend to be a drive. That's easy to do, but it's not quite the same thing. I really want the disk drive. I've got floppy disks, in fact. One thing I picked up recently while I was in Vegas, this is an Atari 1200 with its original cover. And this thing is freaking fantastic. It actually has like the best keyboard out of the Ataris. Really cool system, and it works. It was only 80 bucks. Actually got it on vacation in Vegas in April. And I also got a boxed Atari 1050 floppy drive. And the 1050 will work with my XE, but it doesn't look as nice as the XF551 drive. So yeah, my collection is growing. And something biggie that you might be interested in. This is the replacement screen, the double resolution replacement color LCD for the Game Boy Color. This is the one that Midwest Embedded set up for pre-order. They shipped out a few weeks ago and I finally got mine. These things are super bright, really good. It's an actual, like, it's an LED lit screen. It's really nice screen. The guy Colin from the YouTube channel This Does Not Compute actually got one of these early as a review unit, and he built it into one of his, and it looks amazing. So if you go on YouTube, look up This Does Not Compute. He actually did the build video of this, and I'm gonna do this on stream sometime soon. I just gotta dig out my Game Boys. I gotta figure out which Game Boy I actually want to sacrifice to that, because it does require cutting into the case a little bit. Not a whole lot, but it does. I mean, it does require some cutting. So either I'm gonna have to buy a different Game Boy for that, or you know, just pick which one of mine I want to sacrifice. Okay, so back to the build. Back to the lecture at hand. Of course, took a little detour there and spent some time. I don't mind it. I like it. I don't mind being distracted. It's nice to be able to have people who understand, who get it. You guys get it. I don't mind the distraction at all. Okay, actually got some decals now. 2, 3, and 4. These are control panels. Oh, this is going to be the internal control panels. So this is one set of them. There's actually 2 sets. Number 3 goes on top. Number 4 goes on the left. And number 2 goes on the right. Which honestly doesn't matter because I could stick the stickers on anyone and just pull the piece off. Yeah, Lego. Alright, flip it over and install some yellow hooks. And a secondary assembly. Interesting. So oh, thanks for stopping by, Angie. You have a good night. I know it's a little bit later than there. Stop in again soon. All right. This is an interesting build-up they've got going here for this panel. Oh, I think this panel is like the controls. And is that all of it? Then we go like this to seal it up. And then that goes right here. Interesting. So now that I've got that, all right, a 2x2, a 2x6. this control panel part that they've got me building is actually coming together really solidly. It was a little flimsy at first, but now it's a substantial piece. A couple of long smooth strips and one gray strip. Looks correct. All right, so what on earth am I building? Those don't stay on very well, do they? It's actually got me going weird places. There's panels on the back, the actual stickers. You got me going weird places. Actually got me doing weird voices, which means I'm probably dehydrated. Two hours and 53 minutes in. Oh, Biggie, are you still there? Actually, a callback to last time I was up there in your neck of the woods. You can see on camera here, just behind. Well, he was on camera. This is my Lego Vashta Narada from Doctor Who. Hey, who turned out the lights? He was built at the brick store down there in Santa Rosa. The one that's at downtown. I don't know if it's still there, but when we were up there, we stopped at that store and I built this little guy. And I need some water. They moved the shop right next to right next to a bottle house. If I remember, the place that it used to be was actually just right around the corner from Russian River. Oh, and you guys got you've got the Stone Napa up there now. Stone Brewing Napa. I really wish Stone would open up a shop up here, because I really don't have a lot of options for getting my favorite Stone beers up here. And Seattle beers are very, very protective of their territory. There are a lot of really good Seattle beers, especially this one, Elysian Space Dust IPA. It's like an 8%. 8.2%, and it's a good, strong, good flavor IPA. Haven't been yet, but got to go to the new. Ooh, nice New Bear Republic. Gosh, we've been to quite a few places. When we went on my little birthday trip through Oregon and Washington, we actually stopped in Hood River. And there are, I mean, literally going from Portland east out towards Mount Hood, breweries everywhere, like just dotting the landscape. Everywhere there's a town. And we had lunch at one, and then we drove a little further and had a couple of beers at another one. Just, you know, tasters. Really, I am so happy with the way the evolution of small brewing companies has gone forward. It's just really nice. So many options. Black bar, short black bar. One of those, two of those. right. For these guys, wonderful red bricks. And then that whole thing gets enclosed. And the red bricks disappear right underneath the panel. All right. Okay, we'll set that aside for just a moment, and now we've got another component to start off. Dun, 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 dun. Been a while since I've done a good build. Lack of space here keeps us from doing stuff like that. Yes. Actually, I kind of had that problem here. We actually do have a decent amount of space in here. We just hadn't really grown into it and kind of organized it correctly. And we got a new couch, which we didn't have at our old place. And the couch is L-shaped. It's actually like a decent sized couch with a lounge on one end. Which is really nice. And then I got my nice long IKEA table. We've actually been able to extend that IKEA table all the way out. And just last week I cleaned up a bunch of stuff and reorganized a bunch of stuff in here so we could actually have friends over. Good friend of mine named Jared is very big into board gaming, and we've been board gaming with him for a while, and we invited him over. We actually got to play a new game, Star Wars Outer Rim, which it's a very in-depth board game for 3 or 4 people, which I think maybe 5 maximum. But we played it with 3 players, and boy, that was a lot of fun. We wasted like 4 hours, like we blew through 4 hours super fast. So yeah, now that I have a little bit of space, table's cleared off, I can actually have people over, that kind of thing. And I did clear off some space here on my desk so I can actually start doing things like the Lego streams and the electronics. And I've got a lot of stuff behind me organized, even though it doesn't really look like it. It's a whole lot more organized than it used to be. Okay, so now I've got this module built, and this fits in, or rather doesn't fit in. Nope, fits in one above. Yep, so one above there. And now I have to do this whole thing a second time. Shoot. But it attaches to this piece here. So there's like half of the unit, and there's control panels on the inside. So now I got to do the other half that's just like this. Rewind. Ah, it did say 2x way back there. I'm surprised I didn't catch that. I would have done these simultaneously. Set an 8. Yep, 8 long. Flip you upside down. boom, and then we'll do that again. That's why there were double 2, 3, and 4 stickers. Makes sense, right? It's like, hey, I have double of these stickers. Maybe I should have realized, oh, you're supposed to do this step twice. 3 on top, 4 on left. So Big, I don't know if I mentioned this since you've been on the stream, but there's a group of guys that a group of people that worked on the restoration of a genuine Apollo guidance computer, and just got it working the other day. Full-on restoration using its own core memory, using I think they were using a replica DISCI control panel interface. But they interface the thing to a BeagleBone Black, which I think is really cool. Very useful small computer. And they've been posting videos about it, the entire restoration process. And that's really cool to see that thing actually working again, actually running numbers. And they hooked up a synthetic in the modern accelerometers and stuff to kind of simulate, to tell the machine that you know, the gyros and the accelerometers are actually working, even though they're not doing anything. Because of course the computer would freak out if it didn't feel any thrust when it expected. So just really cool projects. Lots of people have been contributing projects for the 50th anniversary celebration. The group of people that have built parts to make a replica command module door and all the mechanics that go in with that. Everything from metalworking, CNC to 3D printing to build that up, which is really cool. It's just fantastic to see all the renewed interest in space travel, space exploration. We need more of it. So much more. I need to figure out some stream music. Something that is not going to get a copyright claim. I mean, it's nice sitting here listening to myself talk, but not that nice. Wonder if I'd get a copyright strike for whistling certain things too well. You whistle too well, you cross this line, you die. I read something that kind of depressed me a bit though. Out of a list of jobs, kids ranked being an astronaut lower than being a vlogger. Yes. We are in an interesting point in social development, and that is the explosion of social media. And honestly, I think it will hit a point and kind of back off, and we'll get used to it and things will kind of go back to normal. But I don't know if that'll be soon. And there are a lot of kids out there that are very much interested in the quick road to fame that gets money. You know, you'll be that 1 in a billion blogger who blows up and becomes famous and gets a bunch of money, and people will just give you things all over the place. And you know, honestly, it doesn't happen a whole lot. It just happens a few times. It's a rare occurrence. I would love for my channel to blow up, but honestly, what I do is not super clickbaity, interesting, crazy, outlandish. Need more steam. Yeah, I can definitely see that. There's a lot of effort in that, and of course there are the social media darlings that are definitely focused on STEM / STEAM. And there's young kids that are doing it, especially like if you look at what Adam Savage did with Mythbusters Jr. and the kids, and getting the kids involved in doing things, and I think that was really cool. Especially like following the young makers like Ali Weber. It's cool to see her go from just being this little kid with dreams to actually being on a TV show by the time she's probably 12. That's really awesome, and I hope it draws more attention to the education side of it than the fame side. We'll see how that goes. Stay hydrated. Stay thirsty, my friends. 3 hours and 9 minutes. Boy, I need to hurry the hell up. This is going to be a 3.5 hour stream, just like Vestas wind turbine was. All right. Done. Got those done. I'm talking way too much. No, I'm not talking. I'm just stopping way too much. Talking's okay. I've got to assemble. Johnny 5. Dun, 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 dun. I forgot I had my snacks. Always nice to have a few Cheez-Its handy. Keep those sodium levels up so you can keep your hydration up. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Build. Name that TV show reference. go. All right. So, squeeze you together. And now we've got these two halves put together. Although they need some connector here. I am very far through the book, and there's not a whole lot of the book left. Okay, so do this twice. Long pieces with smooth, And those are the pieces that anchor them together. That's exactly what I was just hoping for. Oh, that's actually fairly robust. All right, so 2 hooks, a turnstile, and a disc. Hook, hook, turnstile. So we'll get the hook in turnstile. And that's some kind of antenna that goes off to that side. And then we'll get the other hook into the dish, which goes off on this side. Okay, 4 of these little 3 inverted and 2 long skinny 6s, and those will go directly underneath. And more connection points, filling out the actual walls of the module. And the yellow hooks here are actually the hooks that will mate with the base right here. Let me get this on camera. There's 2 hooks there on the base module that the Ascent module will plug into. Okay, so 4 of these arrow pieces. 1 2x2 and 1 black cover plate. So black cover plate goes on top. Good. And that goes on the antenna side right here. Okay, and then there are 4 angled bits that go right along the edge of this to build that out. Build that shape out. And now we'll do something similar on the other side, but it looks like they're going to be double stacked. So that's what those are for. We'll get this, start getting this built up. Four more of these arrow pieces. Where'd you guys go? There's 1, there's 2, 3, and I'm blind. Maybe I should look in the camera. There it is. And that goes on top of two these little black plates. And now we go to the other side. And this gets mounted there. This one's actually, it's the same design as on the other side. It's just raised up two thin plates. And these edge pieces, these corners are raised up on two as well. And now, oh, the actual the thruster that's going to go on the bottom here, which is, oh no, maybe that connects there. Oh yeah, those hooks there are the ones that connect to the base plate. These yellow hooks are probably just to open the side. Let's see, you can go that way. Set that one down for just a moment, and we're going to start building up side pieces, it looks like. Plate. Where's the bottom plate? Plate again, Sam. It says there's two of them. There are two of them. Oh, and this is the window. This is the portion of the module that actually has the window on it. So that's cool. So that gets built up like this, where flip it over, and then there is a ball socket, and a couple of pieces underneath to smooth that out and hold it all together. Ends up looking a bit like that. Flip that back over, and there's a couple of smooth pizza wedges on top. And then the windshield piece goes right in front of that. And this windshield piece sets right on top here. And now I got to build another doohickey to go on top of that. Bling, bling. Knobs. Bunch of knobs. 320. Gosh, I need to hurry up. Taking my sweet ass time over here. And that goes in front of the window. So there's the separation that shows the two windows that are on either side, those little tiny windows that were on the module. Not a lot of space for windows on a spacecraft. And then there's a control panel to build up that goes on the inside. Gray plate and sticker number 1. Sticker number 1 is the fancy computer panel. So there's the inside of it with the control panel. And a crossbar right across the top to help lock that in. Okay, and now we're going to start getting fancy with all the connectors that attach to it. Two of those, and hey, there's a big window frame. Which direction are you going? You are facing outward on the glass. And then 2 singles and 2 doubles. So a single next to it and a double. Single next to it and a double. A 6 plate. With a couple of spacers and the steep slopers. Arctics, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Stream's going well. A couple people stop in, said hi, and now you're here. Hi. We're actually gonna bring you up to speed here. I'm actually on the final bags, bags 4. Here is the base plate that everything sits on, including Neil Armstrong with the footsteps in the lunar surface there. And on top of that sits the base of the descent module, the lander module, and boy, there is a lot of gold on that, and the detail on it's fantastic. There's lots of little things that open up to reveal parts. There's the part here actually has a camera on it, and the camera points directly towards the ladder, which he descended on in those famous shots. And of course, that's the base of it. Now I'm actually working on the top portion, the ascent module, and 3 hours 25 minutes into the stream, and I'm just about done with this last bag. And in fact, Arctics, you can see here, just off to my left, I've got the Saturn V, the monster, and its own little miniature lunar module. So yeah, that's where I am, and I'm actually trying to get these I'm trying to get the front window module put together. All right, so we got that put on. We got, oh, is that the actual door? Maybe that's the door. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so the second window set goes right behind the first one. With the doors on the inside. Get those doors installed. The correct orientation. Yes, you mentioned earlier, it is a beast. Sorry you didn't stop by sooner. It's okay. You know, things happen. Lots of things happen. Life's busy. But like, the stream's actually been really good. I've been really enjoying this build. Okay, now some more bits and pieces to finish up. Knob, control stick. Is that a control stick? And that goes here. There it is. Little control stick. Trying not to have the stream end up too long. I mean, this is it's almost an 1100 part kit. It's definitely not the Firehouse, so that one will take days. Let's see what's L-shaped piece, 2 of those. There's the other one. And the cover that goes over top. So there's like the front window and the actual opening doors for this portion of the module. And on the inside with the control panel, there are the actual reaction control thrusters that stick out of the sides that I've got to put onto this, and then this will go onto the side of the Ascent module that I've got built up. So hopefully I can get these done within the next 10 or so minutes. Do that twice. Get in your hole. Boom. And the RCS thruster sticking out the side there. And now I have a knob with an antenna. And of course I was holding the darn thing upside down. And that is one side. All right, Biggie. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Good to see you. See you around. Have a good night. Okay, let's get this one mounted. It fits in. Yep, fits on the side just like that. So now I've got this other side panel to do, and I believe that will be the end of the build. Hit the keyboard. And there's also there's a blurb on the page here. The reaction control system, RCS, provides thrust to a spacecraft, allowing it to be steered in the right direction. This system was used by the Apollo lunar lander when descending to the moon. And now the last bit. All right. Boom. And this one is being built up a little differently. The last one actually had some rounded frame parts on it, and this one is actually being built up with individual pieces. Excuse me. Two of those, 6 and 6. Get this one here. attachment points for the RCS and the hooks that will actually anchor this thing into the frame, which get little black studs on them for the anchor points, which actually the little black studs on these anchor points help align it within the frame for the yellow hooks, which is a nice build detail. Fud. Ah, it's still showing 4 viewers on stream. That's pretty good. Keeping a good average. Got to keep that average up to at least 3 viewers average per stream, and work my way up to 50 followers. Get my affiliate status. Not that I'm expecting to. I'm just doing this for fun, doing this for me. I'm gonna be rich and famous. Said everyone ever. Oh yeah, this portion of the module is going really quick. Very simple block build. Now there's a doohickey that goes together, 2, 3, and a ball joint with a wheel, which is another antenna piece, and that goes right on top on the outside here. And now I have 2 smooth panels. These are part of the inside of the ship, and they're actually going to get the last 2 stickers I have on the foil sticker sheet. Actually, the stickers are really nice on this one. Okay, so come on, sticker, get on there. And there's the stickers for the interior, and that is all the stickers off the sticker sheet. So now that this portion of the module is built, actually it looks like it's just the RCS thrusters that are left. And we'll build those up exactly the same way we built the last ones. Very simply. These RCS thrusters actually are angled, it looks. Nope. Opposite direction. Wow. So they're angled out just a little bit. And I believe that's it. All that's left is a couple little spare pieces, and this is going to mate up. And there is the completed ascent module with the RCS thrusters. Which should be angled out the opposite direction. Boy, that looks weird. Let's see. It's got instructions for positioning them. make those look nice, because the RCS thrusters go out at the far corners of the craft. And of course I would knock a piece off. I'm surprised a piece came off so easily. Most of this build has actually been very robust. There you are. Yeah, so there's the ascent module. We'll bring this over into the frame. We'll get the door situated correctly. And there it is. That's the completed Lego NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander kit. And I suppose I should put Buzz back in there. I wonder where I can... Let's put Buzz down in front. And that was actually a really fun build. Did take a while, but the detail on this and the amount of gold bricks is just, it's insane. All the detail, all the time. The entire thing lifts off. There's the camera, the egress camera. And then there's a compartment over here on this side for the retroreflector experiment. That's really cool. Now I have the arduous task of finding a place to display this. It is really a nice set. The detail on it's actually quite amazing that the detail on it works out as well as it does. Scale wise, it's just fantastic. My Saturn V actually sits on the mantle over the fireplace, where it actually just has barely enough space and the lander will not fit there. It's probably going up on my shelf out of the way where the camera can't see it at the moment. But that was, yeah, that was it. That was the stream, 3 hours and 41 minutes worth. Thanks to everybody that stopped by, everybody that chatted. Good to see you guys. Good. Thanks for stopping by, Arctic, Big Red Pimp, and also Engine Nerd. Good to see you guys. And I'll catch you all on another stream another night. We'll build something else. Maybe we'll work on some electronics. Maybe we'll work on some 3D printing. We'll see. Have a good night.